Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shannon and this is Shannon's Book Nook, and today we're going to be talking about the books that I read in the month of September. Let's get into it. Okay, so let's address the elephant in the room. Yes, I am behind. Yes, I am working on getting caught up. I feel like I am almost there. I feel like I am finally seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, which is great. So let's talk about those September stats. I read a total of 10 books in the month of September, and all of them were read with mixed media, meaning I read the book with my eyes and or followed along with the audiobook. I may have had a e-copy of the book as well. So physical copy or digital copy with the audio. So tandem reading, okay? 3 of those books out of the 10 were arcs, and I read a total of 3,864 pages. I listened to a total of 112 hours, 56 minutes, and 46 seconds. 6 of my books were books that had representation, which is very good. That means more than half of the books that I read had some sort of representation, which is always my goal. And I added 3 books from my 25 and 2025, so that makes it a total of 20 books. I have 5 left on my 25 and 2025 that I need to read. My average rating for the month was 3.65 stars, which is average. It's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. And then, of course, my most read genre is romance. And yeah, those are the stats. So now let's talk about the books that I read. All right, we're going to start with my most disappointing reads. We're going to start with the 2 stars. And so when I give a book a 2-star, that normally means that I finished the book, but I didn't particularly enjoy my time with it. So the first book we're going to talk about is The Longings of Lone Wolves by Lana Pecherczyk. I don't even know what to say about this book. I don't remember anything, to be quite honest. I remember being bored, and that is a problem, especially in a fantasy romance, or actually this would be a paranormal romance because we have wolves and shifters. And I don't know. I did not have a good time with this book. So I don't want to spend too much time on it, especially because I don't remember what happened. The next book we're going to talk about is Pumpkin Spice and Poltergeist by Elle K. Mulford and K.L. Morrison. So this book had such a fun premise it's a sapphic romance between a witch and a human, and it's set against a Halloween-esque backdrop during fall with all the fall vibes in this small little town. It sounded like the perfect cozy October read. Of course, we were in September, so September read, but unfortunately the execution fell flat for me. The characters ended up grating on my nerves, to be quite honest, and the pace felt off. This book felt both too short and too long. This book spans over 1 week. 1 week. And the main characters are like saying how much they are obsessed with each other and love each other and changing life plans. You've only known each other for a week. What are you talking about? So I don't know. It felt rushed and underdeveloped in my opinion, and I just did not have a good time with it. I ended up rating this book a 2.5, which kind of sucks because this was my first fall romance read. So I was hoping I would love it. It did not work for me. The next book we're going to talk about is The Wall of Winnipeg and Me by Mariana Zapata. I gave this book 3 stars, and I was incredibly disappointed. Honestly, could be 2 stars. I did not like this book, and I don't know why. I absolutely adore Mariana Zapata. I read All Roads Lead Here. Mariana Zapata is the queen of a slow burn. Let me tell you, you have to read like all of this to get the spice. I'm telling you, like the spice doesn't kick in until like page 400 and something. But I don't know if you like a slow burn, and I'm talking a slow burn, you might like this. For me, it was almost too slow. that I didn't care about the characters. Aiden in this book is a football player, and the main female character, Vanessa, is his assistant, and he treats her like crap. And they call him the Wall of Winnipeg because he doesn't show any emotion. Like, he doesn't have friends, really. He has teammates, and he has an assistant, and he takes his job as a football player very seriously, which is great. Good for you. But you don't need to treat people like crap. I didn't like him, and honestly, I don't know, I didn't like the female character either. It was too slow for me. I lost all interest. I almost DNF'd. And then about 30% in, it started to pick up a little bit. And then it dwindled again. And I almost DNF'd at like 80% because I just did not care what happened. So unfortunately, this book was a flop for me. The next book we're going to talk about is Our Last Wild Days by Anna Bailey. This was a ARC that was sent to me by Atria. It did come out earlier this year in May. I gave this one 3 stars. It is a mystery thriller. Loyal has to return home to Jackknife, Louisiana. And when she returns, a body is found in the swamps. And it is a longtime friend that is found dead. And she is basically a journalist. She was working in Houston, Texas for a while and had to come home because her mother is having some memory issues. And so she has to come home. So she continues working for the paper. And when this body comes up, the police department is not really doing too much, which rubs her the wrong way. Like, what is going on? What are y'all hiding? What is happening in my small town? So she gets to work. So this has like it's Southern Gothic, which if you've been on my channel at any point, you know that I don't really gel well with Gothic. So this was a pleasant surprise. I had a good time with it. I did not figure out who the culprit was. So that was a nice surprise. It was like, wait, what? Nice. I did not expect that. But I will say at times the pacing just felt really slow to me. And I was kind of trudging through the molasses type thing of part of this book. But I do recommend checking it out, especially during spooky season. The next book that we're going to talk about is The Honeycrisp Orchard Inn by Valerie Bowman. This was a book that I got digitally from NetGalley, so it is an ARC that I read. Now, I did read it shortly after it came out, and I'm going to be kind of honest. A lot of these books, especially books like The Honeycrisp Orchard Inn, are very similar to other books that are coming out for fall or have already come out for fall in previous years. But I did give this a 3.5 star rating. The Honeycrisp Orchard Inn by Valerie Bowman is a cute, cozy fall romance that gives all the vibes. If you are looking for something similar to Pumpkin Spice Cafe, and other books like that, this is a book that you're going to want to check out because it's very similar to that. So Ellie and Aiden's story is sweet and it's so easy to sink into, and the orchard setting is perfect for that autumn charm. That said, Ellie really tested my patience. There's one point in the story where she makes a choice that felt incredibly selfish, and I had a hard time getting past that, and it really pulled me out of the romance a bit. So still we have that cozy atmosphere, we have the small town feel, and Aiden's steady. I mean, he really made this book for me. And so this was a fun seasonal read, perfect if you're craving something light for an autumn read. Up next, we have Funny Feelings by Tarah DeWitt. This I gave 4 stars to because it has some of my favorite tropes. Now, I know that some people don't like talking about tropes because it almost gives like spoilers, but I like going over the tropes because I know what I like, and knowing what the book has, I'm more likely to pick it up because it has a certain trope in it. So we have friends to lovers, we have fake dating, we have a workplace romance, we have single dad, an age gap, grumpy sunshine. There's a little bit of pining and unrequited love. And then we have just a sweet found family vibe. So this book is actually told in multiple perspectives. So we get both the female and male perspective in this book, and it's also a dual timeline. So it's really interesting to see how their relationship kind of builds over time and how they start out as friends and then kind of grow into more. And what I also really enjoyed was his dad, or excuse me, his daughter, and right now I'm drawing a blank, Meyer. Meyer is the main male character, and his daughter is deaf. And so I just loved seeing how Meyer and Hazel, his daughter, interacted, and then how Hazel interacted with Marley, Farley, the main female character. The whole dynamic was super sweet, super cute. Loved Hazel. She was a sweetheart. So I really had a good time. So we have Farley and Meyer, who are both comedians, but Meyer takes a little bit of a break and basically becomes Farley's like manager to help her out. And I really had a good time with this book. You should really check it out. Up next, we have Always Mine by Laura Pavlov. This, I was not expecting to like this book as much as I did. So we have another Friends to Lovers story. This is another small town romance. I do enjoy my small town romance. So we have Nico, who is a firefighter in this small town, and Vivian. And Nico and Vivian are best friends. They've been friends since grade school. And Nico has a pretty tragic backstory. I will say it was hard to read sometimes. Okay. So you might want to check those trigger warnings because his backstory is tough. Okay. We got a little bit of a mystery going on in this book as well. So there's a little bit of suspense, which I always love to have in some of my romances. I love suspenseful romance. So watching Nico and Vivian kind of grow into more was a lot of fun. Their banter, their bond, they have an easy communication style. I really enjoyed reading their story. And this was such a sweet, full of heart, full of heartbreak for sure. And I definitely want to check out more from this author. She gives me Elsie Silver vibes, but a little different. So if you like Elsie Silver, I would recommend checking out Laura Pavlov. This is book 1 in the Honey Mountain series, which is just a series of interconnected romances. Highly recommend. I cannot believe I did this to myself, but I read both of these books in the same month. We're going to talk about this one first. Phantasma by Kaylie Smith. I gave 4.5 stars. I ate this one up. Okay. It is a spooky, steamy paranormal romance, which is perfect for fall. And let me tell you, it's a standalone as well. Bonus. Okay. Now I normally like my romantasy or paranormal romance to be in a series, where we follow the same characters. I love that, but I ate this one up. Okay. It's set in New Orleans, which is perfect because New Orleans definitely has that paranormal vibe going on. And this story is packed with demons, devils, phantoms, and necromancers, creating a darkly magical atmosphere. And I couldn't resist. I heard great things about this book, about this one in particular. I haven't heard very good things about the next one, which I'm scared about because I'm supposed to be reading that this month. But I loved Phantasma so much. The representation of OCD as well in this book, absolutely fantastic. Well done, Kaylie Smith. And I know she pulled on some of her own experiences with that. So I highly recommend, if you haven't already, I know this was a very popular book, but if you haven't already checked out Phantasma, you need to read it. And this I had read earlier. It was one of my first reads in the month of September, Shield of Sparrows by Devney Perry. Now this is Devney Perry's first step into the fantasy romance genre. And my girl, this was a success. Okay. I gave this 5 stars. I originally read it on Kindle Unlimited and then obviously went out and bought myself a copy for my shelves because I need a trophy after reading this one. I knew early on that something was not clicking. Something was not making sense. What is happening in this book? I was like, something doesn't make sense. It's not adding up. What is happening? And then I'm telling you, when things started falling into place, because I just love that. I hate when books over explain things way early on. Like, why are we doing that? Let me marinate in the world building. Let me just experience it. Let me figure it out as we go. Of course, I don't want to feel stupid or be confused, but I never felt like that with this. I just knew that I didn't have the full picture yet. And when it finally clicked, let me tell you, my jaw was on the floor. I need book 2. I need book 2 immediately. Okay, I don't even know how to tell you what this book is about. And honestly, the main characters, my brain is, the main characters' names have completely put out of my head. But I don't need that. I loved this book. I gave it 5 stars. And I need book 2. The last book that I'm going to talk about is Homebound by Meredith Trapp. This was my very first book of the month for September, and I gave it 5 stars. And then Shield of Sparrow was very shortly after that, and I gave it another 5 stars. So I had my first 2 books in September were both 5-star reads, which had my level of enjoyment for reading way up here. And then the rest of the month kind of just, whoa. It was a roller coaster of a month for sure. But Homebound by Meredith Trapp. Oh my gosh, this was another book that I got as an ARC. It is an Atria ARC, but I got it digitally, so I did not get a physical copy of it. And it was such an unexpected surprise. And I picked it up on a whim. I didn't even have it on my plans for the month, and it worked out perfectly. So this is a sweet and spicy romance. We have another friends to lovers. It's a second chance romance. The main male character, Wyatt, is a NHL player and a single dad. So we got the single dad trope in there as well. And oh my God, I loved him so much. He was a man obsessed with the female character, Dakota. And Dakota was a ballbuster. Man, she was a fierce female, which I think is why I loved this book so much. She was a female bull rider. Absolutely love that. That representation just doesn't happen very often. There are not very many, if any at all, female bull riders. So I loved that the author Meredith Trapp decided to do that for this female character, and I ate this book up so much. We also have this book taking place in Texas, which I found perfect. I adored both of the main characters. They were very open and honest with their communication, which I love. I hate a miscommunication trope. And so Wyatt and Dakota being honest with each other after, they get their stuff figured out from the past and they start getting into a relationship, they are very honest and open with each other. Now, before that, there was some things going on where they weren't really communicating about what happened in the past and why their friendship kind of dwindled. But oh my God, I love them. I love them so much. This story was so sweet and so spicy and so heartfelt and just felt like a fresh take on the cowboy cowgirl romance. Loved it so much. So there you have it. These are the books that I read in the month of September. Thank you so much if you stuck around for this long. Don't forget to like the video if you liked it and subscribe if you would like to. If you would like to tell me what your favorite book for the month of September was, leave me a comment down below. If you just want to let me know that you were here, leave me a football emoji for Aiden, even though I didn't like him. But leave me a football emoji, and I will see you next time. Bye.